Hey everybody, welcome to another week. That just sounded like a total broadcast host. Welcome to another week of sales chatter.
Oh, love it.
That was crazy. So, DJ Mayhem Monday, brother.
Yes,
Topic X picked live on air. Kind of a
Ready.
gloomy day out today.
It is.
Been raining for 2 days now. It's supposed to rain for another 3. But DJ and I were just talking off the air, and it was something that oh, there we go. It's got the title back today.
Queen is back. Good morning, Lisa.
DJ and I were talking about something off air, and we'll bring it up, doubling it up just in case. Look at that. We'll bring it up again just maybe later on in the show, DJ, just to make sure the audience is totally in tune with it. But the question became, so and here's kind of the baseline, DJ. So we'll go over it again. Yep. I don't know if you're or how many people, and please share with us if your brain is on the same wavelength. So this weekend went and got I don't know, I guess a can would be the best word, a can of coffee. And the can of coffee that I normally pay $6 to $8 for, call it, was like $16. And I went, holy doodle, like what the hell's going on? And it feels like a month ago I paid $6 or $8 for it, right? Because I would have had this like, are you friggin' serious kind of thing back then, right? Yeah. And it's so in 1 month, it's almost doubled in price. So my brain immediately starts going to why? Yeah. Why? Right. And I guess that's the logistics side of me is why? Why is this happening? And so I start doing some research. So what DJ and I were just talking about off air was, what if we had a show where we brought 3 or 4 people on and shared with you how we do our research, how we interpret the data, how we check the data in order to bring it to the market. And I'm wondering if that would be, I think that would be a good show for everybody.
I agree.
And I have to say, and only because I want to make sure we understand, it's everyone's got their own way of doing this kind of thing. Yes. But I think in the end, as long as you get good data, how you get there is irrelevant, right? Like I've got a specific way I visit 4 to 5 websites. I do my research from X, ABC, and I kind of reverse engineer it all. Yeah. You might have a different way. Dean has his system where everybody pools the data and he interprets the data, but it's that interpretation of the data. And maybe we'll even do it for a Wednesday.
I love it.
Maybe we'll bring a couple of people on because it is data day, right?
Yep. No, I love it. We got some great comments, and especially Richard. Thank you for look at that. 3 racks of ribs from $22 to $56.
What? Yeah. You see, is that not crazy? Like, is that not insane? And it's just in it. And again, so we've been talking about this for a while, right? Prices are going to hit us. But to me, it almost feels like it's overnight. Like I remember grocery bills going from $2.50 to $2.80. Now the same groceries, because we are all creatures of habits. We typically buy the same shit every week. Yep. And we're up over $3.15. So we're $75 increase on average on groceries. And that's just a regular grocery shop. That's not like, going out and buying prime rib or anything like that, right? It's just a regular grocery shop. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But it was interesting. So I'll just share with you guys a little bit. When I realized this coffee thing, I came back, I started doing some research. So the research that I found was the reason coffee's actually gone up 63%, the cost of coffee. And there is supply chain bottlenecks, don't get me wrong, but it's actually droughts in Colombia and Brazil, the 2 largest locations of coffee exporters globally. So it's actually drought. So we look at that and we say, okay, normally you would immediately say, oh, well, it's got to be supply chain, right? Because it's all on ships.
Well, that's the buzz right now too. It's just supply.
Well, yeah, if anything's wrong, it's like it's a supply chain issue.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about, like last week when Dean was talking about produce is down 50%, right? And there's droughts on the other side of the world, or south of us anyways, that's causing the coffee shortage. They were saying, yes, it is a little bit to do with supply chain because like everything else, instead of 22 days, it's 47 days. And then it's, 2 weeks at port, depending on which port you're going to. But it's the drought.
Yes.
that is causing the major increase in coffee. So it's like we're being hit with this perfect storm, right? We have the supply chain, we've got all these other, the well,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if the pandemic is really here anymore, but I think the aftermath of it
We're,
is
yeah, we're
still,
still dealing with some of the causes of it,
yeah,
obviously.
the
There's some
consequences of it,
restrictions.
exactly. And so it's anyways, I just thought it was insane, and I figured, you know what, why not start the
Crazy.
week on kind of like a I don't know about you guys. So and here's where I get, like, I'm a data geek, right? Like
I love
I
it. I love
love
it.
data.
Well, because
Like,
when you really dial it down data, it's almost like you do feel, and that's why I say, feel like uh like Dean has a crystal ball, because it does. When you really, 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 I mean, you can take a pretty good educated guess on how things are going to go. I mean,
mhm.
again, it's a guess. It's always going to be a guess, but man, if you really break down the data, you can kind of tell. I mean,
Well, and not
patterns.
only
We,
that,
we
DJ,
live in
if
we
you
live
were
in
a shipper,
patterns. We live in
if you were a
patterns.
shipper and you had a salesperson that came to you and said, "Hey, listen, I'm looking at A, B, C, and D.
Mhm.
Based on A, B, C, and D, what that tells us is when it meets here, this could possibly happen. So
Yeah,
we should probably prepare for it." Right?
exactly.
If you had a logistics professional, you're a shipper, you're moving massive amounts of goods around the world, and you had a logistics professional tell you that, I think that enhances your image and credibility brand even more, even if it doesn't happen, but you're staying ahead of it. You're trying to make that next move before the turn even comes up. And a lot of the times, I don't know. I would, if I was a shipper, I would feel way more comfortable with somebody like that than somebody who was just like, yeah, okay, I'll move those for you again. Oh, hey, by the way, 35, 40 minutes, maybe 2 hours later, hey,
Yeah,
DJ, you know what? Yeah, man, the market's really changed. I'm going to need an extra $100 a load. Like to me, that's not doing your job
yeah.
as a career professional, sales
I agree.
professional. Now,
I agree.
again, we're not talking job. We're not talking,
Yeah,
straight out of college. I need something for 3 months to pay some bills while I wait for my career. Like, this
yeah,
is career sales
yeah.
professionals, the elite of the elite. We stay ahead of the curves and we get
Yeah.
ahead of things because we don't want to be behind. We want to be the trendsetters. We want to be the trailblazers, right? And I think that
Mhm.
for every major sales professional, that's what we strive for, is to
Yeah,
trailblaze. Right?
yeah,
You look at us.
yeah.
There's been many shows. No show is live daily
Mhm.
ever until we started to do live daily every morning at the same time. Now you
I
look at
love it.
it. There's 4 or 5 shows that are
Oh
live
yeah,
daily,
I love it.
right? But it's we kind of stepped in and said, okay, well, we're going to create this space. Not only are we going to create this space, it was a hell of a lot of work to even come up with the first month's worth of content, because you don't
Y-
want it to be stale, you don't want it to be
Yeah,
stagnant. And
yes.
here we are 5 months in, and now
I
you
love.
see so many other people jumping into the daily live space.
Yep,
There's been people that
I
post
love.
daily, 100% short videos, so on and so forth. I'm not saying that we're the first to do that, but to go live daily on multiple platforms, from what I know, the first, from a non corporate perspective, like
Oh,
Freightwaves does 4 or 5 broadcasts a
oh
day on
yeah,
all
they're
different,
all
like
over the
Freightwaves
place.
TV and their app and stuff, right? So
Mhm.
different level, but there's always a trendsetter,
Yeah,
right? So like, I would much rather be that trend center in my professional sales career. And even if I'm like, and so you look at it, think of it like baseball, right? Like, even at like 3 out of 10, they're superstars,
oh, you're a Hall of Famer.
right?
You're a Hall of Famer.
So
Bet
it,
300, and you got a good step up there. You're in.
yeah, and I'm not even a baseball fan. Is 300 good? Like, is
Oh yeah.
300? Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
absolutely.
There we
Yeah,
go.
you
Holy
bet.
crap. Look at, oh yeah, Jeff says holy doodle. Yeah, brother, you don't like that. Yeah. Uh so what data, you don't need no stinking data, common sense when it comes to coffee. Facts are facts. This is critical. Tells a story. Love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Love that. Yes, you're speaking my language. Boom. Yes, Jeff. Actually, Jeff, we'd like, if we do that Wednesday show, we'd love for you to be on, because you're getting some serious data these days, and we'd love to kind of pick your
Yeah,
brain as to where you get it, brother. Because I think and again, I and again, so everyone watching and listening, share your thoughts, because this is super important. I think when it comes to data, for me anyways, speaking personally, when I first started to get into the data game, it was overwhelming. It's like, how do you have all these graphs and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is what? And you have no way of putting into a simple way of understanding it, right? Like
Yes.
Dean will be able to look at a graph, DJ,
Oh,
that
God.
would make yours and my eyes go cross-eyed. He'd go, oh yeah, da, 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 and because he does it every day. But
Yes.
as a sales professional coming into the industry, or as a sales professional saying, I'm ready to up my game, it takes that learning curve, right? Like everything else. But that learning curve can be like, holy crap. I mean, everything that I do anyways, I try and find 3 or 4 different articles on it. And the reason I do that is because everybody's going to write from a different piece of the information. But if you kind of gather 4 or 5, I forget who it was. One of my mentors said, one of his mentors says, like, how do you figure out what's kind of right, wrong, and indifferent? He says, well, what I do is I read 4 to 5 books on the same topic. I don't read one book.
I just heard
and
that.
that's
I
it.
just heard that too. I just heard that.
Mhm.
So yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
He says, I read 4 to 5, and then I come up with my perspective or my process out of those 4 to 5. And it's an interesting fact, right? Because you have 4 to 5 people, let's call it sales, right? You have 4 to 5 people. You got the Jeb Blunts, you got the Jeffrey Gittimers, you got the Zig Ziglars. Like you can go through 100 different people that write about sales. Bob Bird, you read 5 of their books. You probably have all the information you will ever need to be super, like uber successful in your career.
I love that you said that. Yes.
I would I would hazard a guess that you would have every single strategy and tool you would ever need to reach heights you never thought possible. I mean, I could be wrong, because I tend not to stop at 5. I just keep reading.
We're sponges. Good morning, Flatbed Queen. I see her up
yes,
there.
there she
Morning,
is.
Jessica.
So we have Insurgent. Man, they vaccinated me. Then they, what the hell? Okay. So I have to just
you didn't read that before
block
you put it
him. Okay, officially blocked. I probably should have read that before I put it up, shouldn't I have? I apologize for that, everybody. Good morning, Jessica. Yeah. So, jeez, that just totally threw me off, brother. Okay, let's get back on track here. Let's get our heads out of the. Okay, ready?
That was so good.
Because we haven't even picked the topic yet. We're 12 minutes in, so we got to
go. Let's pick it. Ready? Go. Right there. Right there. I think we had a good topic to begin with, though. That was good.
Okay, so we already did that one. So did you want to? Yeah, So we already. Jesus, jeepers. Okay, that was driver-centric freight sales. That was when Greg was all over.
Yes. Right there. Let's see what we got.
We already did that one.
Oh my goodness.
Third time's the charm, brother. Third time's the charm.
It's like playing a board game. It's right there. Yeah. Like playing a board game. We did all the questions. Hey, we did that question already.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Different angles. We literally were just talking about that when it came to reading different angles from everybody. So the conversation for today is different angles. How can you bring a different angle to your sell? What's the long-term impact on not following the crowd? Wow. That is actually pretty awesome that we just pulled that. So, Jessica said, hey guys, laugh out loud. Yeah, we blocked Insurgent, whoever that was.
Yeah,
so,
sorry, Insurgent. We don't want to hear about your wee.
Yeah. So it says, how do we bring a different angle to the sell? So, and I wrote here in brackets a customer name and rail. And what I mean by that is, so I'll share a quick story. I was dealing with this major quartz supplier and biz and company. And through the process, they do stock transfers, right? So many customers do stock transfers if they have multiple warehouses. And I was watching the stock transfer. We were doing about 2 a month, and they were on B trains across Canada. So for those of you who don't know, it's about $16,000 to $20,000 for a B train to go across Canada. Flatbed, it was like 106,000 pounds. It was a big truck, right? A big order. And after watching this for probably 3 months, I started to do some math, and I figured the cost was about 47% more based on the amount of slabs that went and the additional cost to sell in a different market, right? So going from Ontario to BC, BC to Ontario.
Wow.
And so 47% cost. Then what was happening is this company, typically, like most companies, they drop their prices on the last week of the month to hit quota and to, make
get
sales, right?
inventory out. Yeah.
So I stepped up one day and I said to my customer, I said, like, listen, how much on average does your company drop the price? They said, well, 10, 15%. So I said, okay. So now we're up in the 60% range, more expensive. So I sat down with them and I said, listen, like, you're doing these stock transfers. And based on what you're doing now, full transparency, we were making about $2,500 we probably not 25. We were probably, because we paid back fuel. So we're probably in that $2,000 mark for the B train going across Canada, right? So, and the reason I say that is because to hold a $20,000 receivable, like I need at least 10% in order to hold it. So we were in that $2,000 to $2,500 mark from a GP perspective. Okay. So, I sat down with the customer and I said, listen, like, I think there's a better way to do this. We would have to kind of recreate the wheel, because from the people that I've spoke to, it's never been done before. And what I was looking to doing was putting 10-foot slabs of quartz on a rail car. And so if you understand the way quartz moves, it's a 10-foot by about 5.5, sometimes 6-foot slab. And they sit in an A-frame. So you have so much weight put strictly on. And typically they move in 20-foot containers overseas. They move right in the center of the container, and they're very hard on equipment, right? Because it's a shit ton of weight right in the middle.
Tons.
And so what I did is I went to CNCP, the Canadian distributors for rail, and I sat down with them and I figured out how to move them in a 53-footer with 4 rows of slabs. Okay. So what we did is we created.
What was the weight on that?
So what we did is we could only move 55,000. So rail car, a container maxes out at 55,000. But here's the difference. Okay. So what I did is I sat down with them. I created an SOP. We went to safety and compliance. They signed off on it. So like I had literally 4x4s that like distributed the weight, and like we like mathematically created this. I went in, I built 10 different framing systems for them. Like literally went to Home Depot, bought all the wood, bought the hurricane straps, everything. I built the whole thing for them. And I came out and I said, okay, here's the way it works. So we load it the same way you would unload a container. And it's like, so it's this big clamp that kind of picks up the slab. You move it in and drop it, and with straps and everything. So long story short, it was no joke. It was probably about a month process, a lot of work, but it worked. So we went from like $16,000 to $20,000 to move 105 slabs down to $6,000, because it was like $3,200 a rail container. Right. So like you think of that price cut. So what we had to do is we had to move 2 rail containers to meet that 106,000 pounds, 110,000 pounds, but it cut that cost. So what they started doing is they actually like quadrupled their stock transfers, because different markets bought different products. And because of it, we actually started making, every time they did stock transfers, we actually made close to $5,000 or $6,000 based on the volume they shipped. So again, it wasn't a go in and cut your price. It was, how do we do this differently?
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah, 100%. And it actually started a lot of companies in the Ontario region started doing that after we did it. They started seeing it, and like one person in BC left and went to another company, and all of a sudden that company's doing it because they're like, it works, and it's a huge cost cutter. Like you think you go from $20,000 to $6,400. Same stock transfer, brother. So that margin at the back end goes from here, like it skyrockets, right? And it's not that we like it's not. I mean, did we think of something a little different? Yes. But it's not like we created a SpaceX shuttle that kind of arced and landed in BC. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was one of these things where it kind of went, well, will it work? Would you want to try it? And the customer, and here's the big caveat to this. The customer was like my ideal customer. When you have an ideal $1 billion customer, it's a really good deal. Okay. Where I said, would you mind if I tried? He goes, hey, as long as it doesn't cost me a dime to start, we'll try. Go for it. And I said, well, you are going to have to pay for the materials. He says, so what are we talking? I said, I don't know, $300-400. He says, yeah, go, whatever, man, just build.
Yeah.
So like it was, but you know, it was funny because I remember him looking out his window into the warehouse, and there I am with like chop saws, and I'm building. And he comes out, he goes like, I thought you were a salesman. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
who
well,
is this guy?
you gotta be whatever you gotta be. But it was like literally. So what we did is we took the measurements. So they had steel A-frames that came in from overseas because it all came from Israel and stuff. So we had steel A-frames. So I like literally took all the measurements of the steel A-frames and recreated them in wood. Just because, so rail cars, right? They do a lot of this,
yeah.
right? Whereas trucks, it's kind of bouncing like this, and rail cars, like it's violently shifting side to side.
Yeah.
So there was like bracing that needed to be done. So it's like these things had to be so in the center, and then there was A-frame bracing that we put in beside them, and straps and steel straps, and like it was a pretty cool venture. Yeah, and so it took about an extra hour to load and an extra hour to unload. Okay, then a flatbed. So we're talking 3 guys at $20 an hour. So, you know, call it an extra $200 each way, and it was $6,300 to move the same. So you're calling it call it $7,000, just for argument's sake, $7,000 over 20.
Oh yeah,
pretty good savings. Right?
Yeah,
pretty good savings.
31, almost.
Jeff says. It's more of a consensus, staying neutral, coming up with info based on your findings. You also have to use your knowledge, experience, and gain trust and partnerships. 100%. Regarding data, yes. What do we get here? Preet, good morning, fam. Have a blessed day ahead.
Morning, Preet.
How are you? Hey, Preet's from the West Coast as well. Y'all joining us here. Daman, I think I saw Daman here this morning. Yes, there he is. Daman, good morning. So, what have you ever had anything? You know, when you talk long-term impact, when it comes to that, they're still doing rail today.
Yeah.
So they're still saving those costs, right? You ever have anything where you kind of looked at it from a different angle in your business, DJ, and care to share?
Oh yeah. Well, so as far as logistics,
or in anything, because it's all about creativity, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, with what we're doing now, I mean, shoot, we went from selling resale stuff from the Flow resale up there to we said, screw it, we're gonna buy the flea market instead. So yeah, I mean, it was the transition, but it was it was that thinking out of the box. It was again, we started this with the idea, hey, just hire people. This will be fun, and not thinking hiring people right now is impossible when Amazon's doing what they do. So we just had to really think out of the box, but really.
So explain that, because you're interested in, what do you mean hiring people is impossible because of Amazon doing what they're doing? What is Amazon doing?
Oh my goodness. So Amazon right now, at least here in Ohio, I mean, they play the message all over the place, but I mean, they're starting people at $25 an hour. Insurance day one, insurance, and like a $3,000 sign on. So I mean, it's that's pretty much, besides the Great Reset, that's where a lot of people are funneling to, and that's why a lot of the lower end the jobs out there are struggling to, the basic jobs of, I mean, even the local pizza place franchises and stuff like that. I mean, they're struggling to just. I went to Giorgio's. The manager was the only lady there working this whole place. Me and this other guy were gonna help her. We're like, this is crazy. Phone's ringing. She can't take deliveries. It's been nuts. But yeah, so as far as hiring just regular kids working jobs, it's tough to even do.
So you mean like kids for summer jobs kind of thing?
Oh yeah, any kind of yeah. Yep.
Okay. And I was going to say, so if it's an Amazon facility, so they're probably pulling people from 30 miles? Like people wouldn't drive more than 30 miles for a $21 an hour job, would they?
I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, who knows? For $25 an hour and all of the guarantees, I mean, with everything else, I mean, it's been crazy.
Well, would your now again? I mean, I've never applied, but would your $3,000 bonus? I know how it is up here. They'll give you the $3,000 bonus after you're there for a while.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm right. Sure, so you don't just come and get the bonus and then you jet.
Yeah.
So, but it would be interesting to. So when you think about different angles, right? So we're looking at that, and you're saying, to hire people from different angles. This would be the exact exercise that might help you find that benefit of hiring people.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what angle are you not coming at it from?
Yeah.
And
No,
it's
yeah.
just, and again,
Great point. Great
maybe
point.
it'll never pan out to anything, but I'm thinking, okay, so they got insurance, they got $25 an hour, but what is there something
Yeah.
else that
I,
you can offer them, or the flea market can offer them, you know,
yes.
0.5% of the overall profits, 0.5, like, I don't know. There's gotta
I,
be,
I like the
there's
way you're
gotta be an
thinking, though.
angle. You
I
just
like the
gotta
way you're
find it.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, so even at that, for the time being, you hire people for an X period of time. You say, okay, we're going to give you, almost, or 1% of the overall profits.
Yep.
So now there's a bigger payoff for them if it is a dollars and cents
If it's
thing.
worth it. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again,
I,
I don't know
I
how
like it,
big
though.
this.
I like the way you're thinking. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have toyed with those ideas as well. But yes. No, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't necessarily, because here's the thing. And again, people might say, "Oh yeah, but you'd be giving up a lot of your profit." Well, if you have no employees, you're not making any profit.
Bingo.
So right, but
Bingo.
it's like where is that teeter totter that we have to go? And it's same thing in our business,
And this
right?
is
I remember in logistics, I would always go to my management and say, "Listen, we're on the verge, like 2-3 months out, we're ready to close some new business based on pipelines and based on where we are. I need more ops." And like, well, but you have enough ops for your business. I said, no, you don't understand. We have to prepare for what's next. The last thing we want, and for all you salespeople there, how many times have you closed accounts and then struggled and stressed because you didn't have enough support for that account? Like, how many times have
yes.
we done that? I did that for decades, man. It
I
was
did.
shit,
Yes. Oh yeah, I did.
right?
Yes, I've
And
done
even
that
to a
in the
point
beginning
where,
too.
yeah, even to a point where mentally we're about to close and then we're like, oh my God, can I support this? And it's like I don't know. So for me, it was always, um, if you have to pay for something 3-4 months in advance, do it. Meaning new people, bring them in, get them trained, and be ready for when that hits. Like we would have customers that would come to us and say, okay, we want this, and this, you guys to take over this, and this. I would literally put a timeline in place and say, okay, we're going to bring somebody in, we're going to train them. So give us 60 days. And people in the company thought I was crazy. They're like, no, take the business now. And I'm like, we are going to lose it. Like, we just can't support it. It's
Yeah.
at a certain point, people max out. That's just what it is. And we can't support it. I would much rather go slow and get it done properly.
I'm glad
And
you said
maybe
that.
that's the
Dude,
long,
I
maybe
think
that's
people, yes, people tend to try to grow a little too fast without having those steps in place. But I gotta bring up Nerf. So Nerf, I don't know. You're scaring me with that broccoli shake. So it's not a broccoli shake. It is the white Monster Energy monster. If you're out there, please.
DJ, is that a broccoli shake or you are drinking for energy?
But that's
Interest,
so
a
funny
broccoli
because
shake.
last night, so my 2-year-old Oakley made all four of us. This is how sweet she is. Made all four of us these little shakes in her little fake blender in cups, and mine had a little fake broccoli in it. So that's kind of funny you said that. So
Nice,
crazy.
nice.
But
So Nerf has got some ADD going here. He says, I'm
uh-oh.
feeling anxious watching your unresolved Rubik's Cube on your shirt. I'm starting to sweat. Please solve it.
Nerf,
Nerf.
I love it.
Always a character, brother. Always a character. So,
I love it.
anyways, dude, so maybe I don't know if that helps you.
Yeah,
For
no,
everybody
that does.
watching and listening, just do your best to, especially in today's day and age, like you ask any shipper you talk to, like, what are they looking for? Like think outside the box. Do something different. Think of something different. Just do something that makes you stand out.
Yes.
Like something. Because everybody is, oh, it's a logistics problem. It's a logistics problem. Like, and I didn't believe it. When I saw coffee this weekend, I said, there's no way coffee has doubled in price because of friggin' logistics. No way.
No way.
Because most coffee comes here to be roasted. Right, like it's not roasted overseas, and it's not perishables like tangerines and stuff and all this. Like, it is not.
Yeah.
And hey, if it sits in a hot container, it's probably half getting roasted in there anyway, so they have to spend less on roasting it, right? Like, and I know that's a silly thing to say, but it's I said there's no way it could be this. There's no way it could be logistics to double the price,
Yeah.
right? But then you think about it, and it's funny because a buddy of mine yesterday, we were talking, and he says, well, also, he says, Dan, I mean, I know it's not a lot. He goes, but aluminum's gone up in price, and so is steel. And what is it packaged in? Most of them are in steel, right? And I said, okay. I said, yeah, you have a very good point there. So that, maybe your cost of packaging is
there's
gone
the
up a little
plastic.
bit.
I guess, yeah. When he breaks down, like, because then there's even the plastic lids. I mean, all plastic is
Plastic lids, vacuum seal,
Yeah.
right? The vacuum seal is like a metallic kind of. So has that gone up in price?
Yeah.
The glue.
That's crazy.
And I know it sounds crazy, but the paper and printing has gone up in price too. Right? So it's like everything adds up, but there's more to it because digging deep, I found it's drought. Drought is the major issue for the coffee.
Dig through it. Dig through it.
Dig through it. Exactly. I think it's I think it's mandatory as a sales rep, as a professional sales rep. I think, DJ, we owe it to our customers to be at the top of our game. Yes. And to think differently and critically. This is the difference. Critically think about your customers, their supply chain, and how you can add like gold to it.
Yes. Make that your mission this week. Make that your mission this week, guys. Mm-hmm. Your mission for this week. Try to figure out that angle to really maybe fix a pain point or fix something. Or just even make something just a little bit better. But try to look at that angle. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yes.
All right, brother. All right. What we got? What do we now? Did your quote, because that really went in like multiple directions here.
So. Well, like it's been lately. I'll tell you, and that's why I'm cutting it off, because I think you hit it like at the perfect point that it led. Right. We'll see. But hey, thank you everybody for joining us. As always, Monday mornings we know are not fun, but start it right.
DJ, they're the best day of the week, brother. Come on, what are you talking about? You have a blank canvas for the whole week. You got 5 days of a blank canvas to make anything happen.
That's right.
It's the best day of the week.
Yes. For us high achievers, so yes, most of y'all probably watching, you were waiting for today, like we were, to get ready and start this week. But again, thank you.
Way to pivot on that one there, brother.
9 a.m. till 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Start your day right with us. Thank you to Daman, American Logistics, Centurion Trucking. Thank you to Nerf, as always, bringing the humor to the show. And thank you guys. Just thank you, everybody. Quote today. Hopefully this is a good one. Sorry, Jeff. Socrates. This is from Socrates. Hopefully you like this one. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think.
Oh, brother. Did you pick that before the show?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
DJ, I'm going to get you to give me lottery numbers, because this is crazy, man. How have you not won the Powerball yet? That's friggin' insane.
It was crazy.
Insane.
Right? Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody. And again, the original morning show. Huh?
That's right.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversation.